Benedict had always known the sea. As a Navy officer, his life revolved around long missions, tactical navigation, and the rhythmic hum of the ocean beneath his feet. His crew respected him for his leadership and his unyielding resolve, but Benedict's heart remained untouched by anything other than the pull of the tides. Until the day he met Sharmine, the mission had started like any other. A routine patrol in the Indian Ocean. But halfway through, a distress call shattered the calm. A coastal island had been struck by a devastating cyclone, leaving hundreds stranded, injured, and fighting for survival. The Navy was called to assist, and Benedict's ship was the first to respond. Little did he know that this mission would change his life forever. As they sailed toward the disaster zone, the ship's medics prepared for the worst. A special team of nurses had been flown in to assist with the medical crisis. Among them was Sharmine, a skilled and beautiful nurse with a reputation for her calmness under pressure. Sharmine wasn't new to emergencies. She had been in war zones and disaster relief missions. But something about this one felt different. The first time Benedict laid eyes on Sharmine was when she boarded the ship just as the skies darkened and the wind picked up. She was all business, moving efficiently through the preparations with quiet authority. Yet, there was something about her that Benedict couldn't ignore. Maybe it was the way her eyes glimmered with a blend of compassion and determination, or how she seemed so unfazed by the chaos around her. Whatever it was, Benedict found himself captivated. As the ship approached the cyclone-ravaged island, the tension in the air was palpable. The waves roared and crashed against the hull, but Benedict remained focused, navigating the treacherous waters with precision. His mission was clear: rescue the stranded and deliver aid. But his thoughts kept drifting to the nurse who stood silently, her eyes scanning the horizon, ready for whatever awaited them. The island, when they arrived, was a scene of devastation. Houses were leveled, trees uprooted, and people desperately in need of help. Benedict led the first landing party, and Sharmine was right behind him, her medical bag slung over her shoulder. The team set up a makeshift hospital on the beach, where Sharmine's healing hands became a beacon of hope for the injured. Benedict watched from a distance as she moved from one patient to another, her touch gentle, her words soft and reassuring. Their paths crossed more than once in those frantic hours. Benedict would be overseeing rescue operations, guiding boats through the flooded areas, and Sharmine would be there, pulling a child from the wreckage or stitching a wound. Each time their eyes met, something unspoken passed between them. It was as if, in the midst of all the chaos, they were the only two who truly understood each other. One night, after hours of tireless work, the camp quieted as the storm finally passed. Benedict found Sharmine sitting alone on the beach, staring out at the ocean. He sat beside her, the silence between them comfortable. "Why do you do it?" he asked, breaking the silence. She smiled softly, her gaze still on the horizon. "Because someone has to. And I think, I was born to help people." She paused, then turned to him. "What about you? Why the Navy?" Benedict chuckled. "Because someone has to," he echoed her words. "And because, I think the sea is in my blood." They shared a quiet laugh, but beneath it was something deeper, something both of them felt but neither was ready to say out loud. Over the next few days, their bond grew stronger. They worked together in perfect synchronization, Benedict leading the rescue teams, navigating treacherous waters to bring in supplies, while Sharmine healed the wounded and provided comfort to those in need. Each day brought them closer, their admiration for one another growing with every life they saved. But it wasn't until the final day of the mission that they both realized how much they truly meant to each other. The team had been preparing to leave when another storm hit, this one more violent than the first. A boat carrying evacuees capsized in the rough waters, and Benedict didn't hesitate to dive in. Despite the dangerous currents, Sharmine's heart raced as she watched him fight the waves. She had seen courage before, but this was different. This was personal. As Benedict struggled to keep the evacuees above water, Sharmine and the other medics prepared to tend to the survivors once they were pulled from the sea. Benedict was the last to be rescued, and when he finally stumbled onto the shore, exhausted but unharmed, Sharmine rushed to his side. Without thinking, she wrapped her arms around him, relief flooding through her. "You could have died," she whispered, her voice trembling. "But I didn't," Benedict replied, pulling back just enough to look into her eyes. "I couldn't leave without knowing. Without telling you." "Telling me what?" Sharmine asked, her heart pounding. "That I'm in love with you," he said, his voice steady despite the storm still raging around them. Sharmine stared at him, her heart swelling with emotions she had been trying to ignore. "I love you too," she admitted, her voice barely audible over the wind. In that moment, nothing else mattered. The storm, the mission, the chaos, it all faded away. All that remained was the connection between them, the undeniable love that had grown in the most unlikely of places. As the storm passed and the mission ended, Benedict and Sharmine knew their journey together was just beginning. They returned to the Navy ship, side by side, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Together, they were unstoppable, a Navy officer with a heart as deep as the ocean, and a nurse whose compassion knew no bounds. Their love story wasn't just one of romance, but of bravery, sacrifice, and an unbreakable bond forged in the heart of the sea. Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe to help my YouTube channel grow.